Hello and a very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching the brand new edition of India Fights Back with your host, Kriti Mishra. The Delta variant of the coronavirus may cause more severe illness than all other known versions of the virus and spread as easily as chicken pox. That's what the US media reports have quoted an internal document from the US Health Authority. The Delta variant is more transmissible than the viruses that cause SARS, Ebola, the common cold, the seasonal flu, and also smallpox. Infection with the Delta variant produces virus amounts in the airways that are tenfold higher than what is seen in people infected with the Alpha variant, which is also highly contagious, the document has noted. The amount of virus in a person infected with Delta is thousandfold more than what is seen in people infected with the original version of the virus. And for deeper insights on this, I'm joined by Professor Sarman Singh, Director, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Bhopal, and Dr. Sunil Raina, Professor and Head Community Medicine, Dr. R.P. Government Medical College, Tanda, in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Welcome to Sunset TV, both of you, and thank you so much for joining us. And Professor Singh, coming to you first. The report comes at a time when several countries worldwide are already grappling with a fresh round of infections fueled primarily by the Delta variant. How much does that bother you, sir?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a concern because the important finding, other than what you said, is that the infectiousness. But more important than that is that what they have shown that 90% of the people in whom this variant was found, they had both the vaccines, means Pfizer or Moderna, either of the two, but both the doses. So I think that is very, very important. And that is the reason that government of America, United States of America, they have again come back on the old dictum that, the masks are important in the month of May and June. They said that there is no need and they can go without mask. So now there is a change. And even though the opposition party is making a noise out of that, but definitely it is a fact that America has come back on the appropriate behaviors, and that's what we have been saying. And I again emphasize that nevertheless, whatsoever you say, whether it is a variant or non-variant, I always say that mask and appropriate behaviors, I think they are the best solution, and they can prevent any variant, whether it is a delta, alpha, beta, gamma, or whatsoever it is. But I think the mask, physical distancing, and the hand hygiene, these are most important things. But you, in the opening remarks, you said that in countries like India, where people are not respecting any appropriate behavior guidelines, and they are either these are the festivities or something like that, they are really risk. And the same thing happened in the 4th July. America has its Independence Day, and that's what people are correlating, that most of the cases they again came back after the festivities of the 4th July. That is the biggest festival of the United States of America. So that is again and again, it has been why whether our honorable Prime Minister or anybody else, we have been saying, but people are probably, they are not adopting these guidelines. So I think this is the time again we should learn from USA and other European countries. We should come back and we should adhere to appropriate behaviors.
Absolutely, sir. We have to adhere to the COVID appropriate behavior. But Dr. Raina, US, UK, Israel, Australia, Japan, Indonesia, Bangladesh, along with several other European and Asian countries, are already witnessing a sharp rise in cases, with the variant spreading rapidly in the community. How much is that a cause of concern? And do you think that the Delta variant is responsible for it?
First, thanks, Kriti, for having me on the show. And as you rightly pointed out, when we started probably 2 months back, we were thinking that Delta was a major contributor to the pandemic in India only. And slowly it spread to other parts of the world as well. If you look at this point in time, if you look at the GSAT data, it says that 90 countries in the world are currently having Delta. And Delta may be the prime reason for driving the pandemic in these 90 countries. So you took a name of a few of the countries. For example, Australia. Australia was almost near zero a few days back. But after it started witnessing a surge in cases, it pointed this out to the Delta. So Delta is a cause of concern, primarily for two reasons. How I perceive it. I perceive it it's from the public health point of view, and I perceive that Delta is important for us in two ways. One, Delta tells us that we are still in the pandemic and the pandemic has not gone away. We still need to think of pandemic as being a part of us at this point in time. And second, unidimensional thinking, whether it is vaccines or just COVID appropriate behavior, won't help. So we need to have a multidimensional, multi-layered thinking if we want to counter this pandemic. So maybe we need to have both together, a good effective tool in the form of vaccines, as well as the collective COVID appropriate behavior, which is going to save us from this pandemic. Another important thing that Delta raises is that when you are in a pandemic, the data is limited. The data is evolving once we are in the pandemic. So if you look at the data now, this data may be redundant maybe 10 days from now, a month from now. So the importance of data being evaluated in real time, current, in fresh mode, and analyzing the data will be key. That is something that Delta taught us. So if you look at the Delta, we have been able to evolve with the pandemic, but Delta taught us that no, we need to sit back, see how exactly the virus is moving, how exactly the virus is mutating, and develop strategies which are appropriately suited to the most dominant form of viral strain at current position in time. So maybe if we look at 6 months back, Alpha may have been the main variant, but now if we look at the most dominant variant is Delta. So we need to have strategies in place which tackle Delta more strongly than we were able to tackle probably Alpha. So in that sense, Delta has been the most important lesson in the pandemic, which has been a master class. COVID-19 pandemic, if that was a master class, Delta has been the most important lesson in that.
Absolutely. But Professor Singh, what are the latest studies? What is the latest data that we have on the efficacy of vaccine on the Delta variant?
Yeah, very important, I think, for public point of view. This is because we, as Dr. Raina also said, that we need to have all the precautions and the vaccination as well. But it is also true that many of the vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, earlier, these were considered to be the best vaccines available in the world. And they were almost 95% efficacious against the Alpha variant of the original virus, what we say. And now it has been seen that the most of the cases with new incident cases, they are from the Delta only. And interestingly, as I said in the beginning also, that most of these, almost 90% of these patients, they had also had the vaccine, but still they have this infection. So this is really worrisome, and this is again and again, as Dr. Raina also said, and I also said in the first part, that this is the driving force for the new waves. Maybe in India, it might be the second wave, but in other countries, it is third wave and even fourth wave in many of the countries. So this is really highly infectious. And, we know that this is so infectious that, next to measles, this all, infectious disease, it has surpassed, whether it is a chicken pox or any SARS, MERS, Ebola, and all these things. So if we say in the R0, what we call, so R0 is the highest is measles. So if you leave one infected person in the 100 people, then 90 of the people, they will be infected with the measles. So it is something like, only less than measles, but definitely more than any other infectious disease it is known so far. So it makes really this virus and this variant very important and very significant, that we need to be, fortunately, the thing is, that we have already assessed, we have already faced this epidemic of the Delta, because it originated from here. Yes. The worrisome thing is that, we never know that maybe other, mutations might have happened in the Delta itself, like Delta Plus or others, but Delta as such is highly.
All right, so we're talking about other mutations, Dr. Raina. I'd just like to understand, why has the Delta Plus variant has been classified as a variant of concern?
Yeah,
Kriti, for that we need to understand a few things. If we look at the pandemic, evolution of the pandemic, when the pandemic started evolving, we started thinking of countering this pandemic. And if we go back 1 year in 2020, the most important arsenal we thought in fighting our fight against the pandemic will be the vaccine. So the vaccines was the tool with which we thought we will fight this pandemic. But over a period of time, what we have realized is that as the new variants come up, for example, the Delta has come up, the efficacy of the vaccines that we have available with us may not be as foolproof as we thought at one point in time. So if you look at the data that is available across the world at this point in time, there is some data which has come up from England, there is some data which has come from Israel, and some data which has come from the US. All real-time data, which is the real-world data, not the data which is there in the from the clinical lab. There is a difference between the data which comes from the clinical efficacy trials and the one which comes from the real world. So the real-world data tells us that your vaccines may be effective in preventing severity of disease to the same extent that we thought at some point in time, but they may not be very effective in preventing transmission. Now, again, if we look at evolution, when we started the pandemic, we thought that the goalpost for management of this pandemic will be to prevent severe form of disease. So we will prevent people from dying. But over a period of time, when we had the vaccines in our hand, we realized that our vaccines were also able to prevent transmission. For example, Pfizer, Moderna, or even our Covishield and Covaxin, they were also found to prevent transmission, meaning infection going from one to another person. Now, the second part, the second track, the prevention of transmission has been nullified by Delta. So Delta tells you that it won't prevent, the vaccines won't prevent transmission. Although the first goalpost, that is preventing the severity of the disease, stays there. So if you are not able to prevent transmission with the help of the vaccine, that tells you that we need to think of other strategies as well. One. Second, the amount of transmissibility with Delta is very high. If you look at the study that came from US, it tells us that the viral load in vaccinated and the unvaccinated was almost similar, which tells us that even the vaccinated people are able to transmit the infection as easily as the unvaccinated, which makes us the variant of concern. Again, another important thing that I always talk about Delta is that when you look at breakthrough infections, or when you look at reinfections or infections with Delta, we generally tend to underestimate the importance of mild infections. Now, Delta does cause mild infection, but we generally don't estimate that. Now, what do these mild infections do? Primarily because of the fact that they come in children for a major part of the time. So what do these mild infections do? These mild infections have a good chance of getting into long COVID. And this long COVID will have a long outcome as far as this pandemic is concerned. So in that sense, Delta is definitely a variant of concern for us.
Absolutely. But we've also been talking about genome sequencing since the strike of the pandemic. Professor Singh, I'd just like to understand that on what basis are these samples subjected to genome sequencing?
Kriti, here the question is feasibilities, because if you see, compare the USA and India. In USA, almost more than 50 to 60% of the samples are sequenced. In India, because of feasibility regions, the cost it involves. Otherwise, also the cost in India is more than USA, because they have most of the reagents and machines built in USA. So the cost of the whole genome sequence in the USA as such is less. In any case, because of the developed USA is a developed country, so they are, as I said, that almost 60% of the samples they are sequenced. In India, we are sequencing almost less than 1%. This is really a concern, because it requires a lot of money and feasibility issues. But definitely, sequencing has been, all scientists, we have been emphasizing that probably we need to escalate our sequencing facilities, because this will give you the alarming situation if we are having any new variants or anything like that. So this becomes very, very important. I think we need to sequence more samples, and then only we will know that what is going on. Because from the experience we know that the sequences what we have done, the results are coming about 1 month or 1.5 months, 6 weeks rather. So after the samples were collected. What does it mean? That by the time the sequencing is done and result is communicated to the society or in the public domain, the variant has already damaged the society, and it has already spread to the great extent. So this is really very, very important, and sequencing should be done in real time, not more than 5 to 6 days the gap. And therefore the government of India is trying to include many of the laboratory, but again the question is cost, because many laboratories they have the facilities, but the reagents and the chips what we require for the whole genome sequence, they are so costly, and we don't have our own. We have to import from USA or Germany only. So these are the some of the concerns. Probably the government is aware, and we need to somehow manage this, and the sequencing of as many as samples, if not 60 or 50%, at least 10% samples should be sequenced to know that how the virus is behaving, how frequently we are seeing mutations, and how they are behaving in real time. Because the disease is gone, and then we are sequencing and we are finding probably this is not going to help much.
Absolutely, sir. But Dr. Raina, changing public health strategies constantly as the virus mutates and more variants arise, that certainly is a very big challenge.
To be fair, there are not many public health strategies to deal with this pandemic. We have a two-track strategy for this. The first track is the track of the vaccines, and that is already established now. So maybe we will need to tweak the vaccine strategy here and there, maybe with regard to timing, maybe. For example, if we look at the Delta, and you think that the efficacy that is being offered in real-time basis by the first shot is only 30-35% with regard to Covishield, so you may need to introduce the second dose earlier than we thought, or than what we are doing at this point in time. So maybe a tweak here and there with the vaccine strategy may be something that has to be done. But the second track of public health strategy, which deals with the mask, the social distance, the ventilation, the hand hygiene, that has remained unchanged from the day the pandemic came. And we can't change that. That has to be the pillar, the foundational pillar for tackling this pandemic. And I think if it's Delta, or as Dr. Sarman correctly pointed out, if it is Delta or Delta Plus or anything for that matter, the fundamental track will stay there as the single fundamental way of tackling this pandemic. So you have to have masks, good quality masks, you have to have ventilation, you have to have social distance, as well as you have to have this. But also the fact is that we may need to use better communication strategy as far as this pandemic is concerned. The one thing that came up as a concern to me in the aftermath of Delta was that the scientific bodies, the institutions jumped to conclusions pretty soon. So before Delta, they said that if we are able to vaccinate a substantial number of people in our country, we can shed away masks, we can shed away social distance, and we can celebrate and together, go in those spaces together. So probably going ahead of time as far as communicating with people on scientific evidence is something that this Delta teaches us. It tells us, hold your tongue, wait what you are going to communicate, take your time, study the data better, and then communicate to people as to what should be your public health strategy. Otherwise, you will have to do what Israel is doing, going back to the mask again, or what US yesterday did, saying go back to the mask again. When you are moving in those spaces, look to ventilation. There's a huge problem in Europe and America at this point in time with regard to school opening. So what should be the strategy with regard to school opening? And there are not many evidences, good quality evidences available with the people around there as to what should be the strategy for opening up in schools in Europe. So that's something that needs to be communicated in a better way. Building good quality science and being able to communicate it to the people in the layman language is the key that this Delta has taught us.
All right, so Professor Singh, how do we better our communication strategy, sir?
I think the people need to be aware, and even our honorable Prime Minister, all the state chief ministers, and everybody, all experts, all the media, we have been teaching. Some people they are resistant, they don't listen to definitely, but probably now we have to repeat the same thing multiple times, because what earlier we thought that if we can teach government and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, we can issue the guidelines and people will learn on their own. They are not. And particularly some of the festivities and the religious and political activities, they need to be curtailed. We know that on one side we are talking of the disease. On the other side, we have the economic issues. So economy also need to be taken care.
Yes.
But the balance, I always say that economy can be revived or can be gained again. But I think the lives are lost. They cannot be revived. The people, those who have lost their life. So this is, I think, important, and people must learn that how to control their emotions, their festivities, and their joyousness, and all these things. They can come again. You have to wait. The corona is still here, and we are seeing in Kerala and Northeast, the states where we saw very few cases in the 2020
Yes.
and even the early part of the 2021. Now these states, they are having really, they are worrisome, and government is really worried about that, these northeast states. And we never know that from these states and Kerala, how the other parts of the country, they can have another spike of the cases, which we thought that probably the vaccine will be able to control. But again and again, I emphasize that yes, vaccine should be taken, but the vaccine will not make you 100% sure. So you have to adopt the appropriate behavior together with the vaccine.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
But Dr. Raina, there are fears that the third wave could be sparked by these new variants. Do you think Delta variant or the Delta Plus variant could be responsible for it?
We need to understand, most of the times the new variants don't spark a wave. The wave is sparked by the existing variants, or the numbers increase because of the existing variant. For example, at this point in time, the dominant variant in India is the Delta. That has probably sparked the second wave. So if you have a third wave, it will be sparked or initiated by Delta itself. But over a period of time, because you yourself said the Delta is more replicable, it replicates more faster. The viral load is higher with the Delta. So there's a chance that there may be a mutation in the Delta itself, and that Delta mutation may become the most dominant form later on. But as far as driving the wave is concerned, the initial part of the wave is driven by the most popular virus which is present at that point in time. The virus that is capable of transmitting rapidly, which is capable of infecting people at a higher pace than the ones which may be killing people. So Delta currently may drive the third wave, but the takeover from Delta may be by some other strains, or it will continue to be Delta. The numbers may be higher because of Delta, or because of the fact that some other strain may come up later in the time. So that's where we need to communicate. But probably you asked a very question, how do we communicate to people? Probably we need to communicate with people by an analogy. Communication by analogy is something which is very easily understood by people. So maybe telling people that we are in the midst of the fire, we can't leave our homes and see that the fire goes away. It won't go away. We need to get rid of every spark that is there with regard to this fire, and then only we will be able to take care of this. Otherwise, we won't be able to take care of this.
All right, so we have to end this show now, and time for closing comments from both my guests. Professor Singh, first to you, sir.
Yeah, again, Delta is a real concern, and we know from the experience from Europe and America, Australia, and several countries. And we should be careful that the virus is still here, and new mutants may come. We must adopt the appropriate behavior and also the vaccine. That is the only way out to keep away the virus and to save our lives. Thank you.
Dr. Raina?
I would just say one line. I would say anything that grows exponentially, that needs to be kept to zero. So whether it's your anger, it's jealousy, or for that matter, greed, or for that matter, the numbers in the pandemic. If they grow exponentially, keep them to zero, reduce transmission.
Yes. Yes, again, that's a very good analogy that you gave. On that note, thank you so much for joining us, Professor Singh and Dr. Raina, on the show.
Thank you.
So viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition of India Fights Back. But before that, let me remind you once again to wear your face mask at all times. Wash your face and hands regularly, and ensure that you follow physical distancing whenever you're stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all it takes to defeat this pandemic. Take very good care, and goodbye.